And there it is. And with that, I introduce Mark Wigg running for County Commissioner position 2. Thanks, Mark, for being with us.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Bernie. Yes, I'm Mark Wigg. I'm running for Marion County position 2. And a little background about myself. I've been in Marion County for 40 years, about 40 years. And I have worked with the USDA Forest Service, the Oregon Department of Forestry, the Oregon Department of Transportation. I've had small businesses and I've managed nonprofits, and I've worked for numerous private consulting companies. I came out to the Northwest because I was a forester, and I graduated from U of Montana and came out, started working as a firefighter, GS3 firefighter up in the Cascades. And I went from a GS3 part-time employee to a GS11 in charge of 350,000 acres in 5 years. They liked me at the Forest Service. And I spent 4 years out in Ukiah, Oregon, managing those 350,000 acres, and then came back to Salem. The problem was the agency asked me to lie. I wouldn't lie. And so I quit. I didn't have a choice. In my mind, I didn't have a choice. And so I came to Salem. I actually worked for a short time as a city planner with City of Salem, which introduced me to local planning issues. And I then worked with private consulting and forestry, and then I worked with the Oregon Department of Transportation. I managed the largest projects in Oregon: Newburgh-Dundee bypass, I-5-217 interchange, Sunnybrook, Sunnyside projects, multi-million, $100 million projects plus. Widening I-5 in Salem was one of my projects. From there, I went back to private consulting because the agency again asked me to lie to the public, and I'm not going to do that. And so I left and went to work for private consulting. And then I thought I retired, and but I got after a while I retired and got a call from Oregon Department of Forestry. They said, "Can you help us?" And they wanted me to help them manage the development and rollout of a software project. Now, I was a forester, and then I became transportation planner, and then I became software project manager. And the rollout worked really well. And we have a software project that people use all the time, and it works really well. And it came in on time and under budget. People like it. And then I thought I'd retire again, and I did. But I got another call from the Department of Forestry, and they said, "Please help us. We have another project. We want to go from paper accounting to online accounting." Now, I don't know anything about accounting either, but I manage teams, and I get teams to work together to achieve our goals on time, on budget. And we have a good time doing it generally. So it's a matter of having some accountability. You have to, when you're managing projects, you need to hold people accountable. And that's one of the things that I find that a lot of people that don't like government, they hate paying taxes because they don't think government is responsible with their money. And I've managed lots of projects. I'm very responsible with the taxpayers' money. And as a county commissioner, I would hold people accountable and make sure things are done. So retired again. And but then what happened is I couldn't handle seeing people on the street in so much pain. We have thousands of people that are unsheltered in our communities. And these people are not all drug addicts. Some of them have jobs, many of them want jobs, and some of them are too old or damaged that they will never hold a job again. But that doesn't mean we have to be cruel and force them to live unsheltered lives, under bridges, in cars, those kind of things. So I was just looking at Salem Chamber sent me something and said, "What are the reasons that you're running?" And what I came up with is 3 names. Margie. Margie, I met. She's living in her car. She's 73 years old. She's been living in her car for more than a year. She always had those lower income secretarial jobs. She didn't save enough money to have cushy retirement. She's living on Social Security. But she's living in her car because rent went up, Social Security didn't go up. And by the way, rent is going to be able to go up 14% this year, 14.6%, I think. And Social Security is not going up that much, which brings me to the other person that I ran into, which is Dorothy. Dorothy lives, older woman, lives by herself. And I met her while canvassing, and she was so scared because she explained that if rent goes up, she can't afford it. Social Security is not going up. She's going to be on the street. So we have a lot of people that are right now on the street that need help desperately. Half of the people on the street are women, and a woman on the street is going to be raped, robbed, and assaulted. Margie, as I mentioned, has been living in a car for a year, more than a year now. And she said she's been robbed 3 times. This is just unacceptable. One of the first things the county needs to do is provide safety for its citizens. These people need to have safe, secure, sanitary places to live and to rest. And that's why I've been pushing for the idea we can't afford building homes for everybody, but we can afford to have safe, sanitary campgrounds for people. So I've been pushing that one. The other people that reason I'm running is for my daughter, Mackenzie, and her generation. Her generation, she's one of the Zoomers, as they say, Generation Z. And they are the most depressed and anxious generation that's come along, because no, government is not doing enough to address climate change. They're not doing enough to address the homeless issues. They're not doing enough to help people. And I couldn't just sit back and let these things happen. And then the other one, after I got into the race and started looking at things, the other one that came up and was very prominent is the fact that the person I'm running against was political director for Oregon Right to Life. He doesn't think a woman, well, he thinks the government should manage a woman's body if she's pregnant. I think women need to be able to manage their own pregnancy. And, but worse than that, I had a priest staying with me, Father Jim. He's a priest over at Lourdes in France. And we had a long talk about abortion issues and contraceptions and things. And what he explained is, I said, well, is in vitro fertilization allowed? He says, no, because it creates too many eggs and we're going to have to destroy some of those fertilized eggs. In the instances of rape and incest, he says, no abortion for those reasons. What we agreed on is that the government can do things to help reduce the number of unwanted pregnancies. Now, Marion County, their entire contraceptive program is a box of condoms. That's it. They provide nothing else. It's a box of condoms over at the health department. That is their contraceptive program. Now, you have somebody that doesn't want abortions. Yes, I understand that. And Father Jim and I will never agree on that abortion issue. I'm not going to change his mind. He won't change mine. But we can agree that let's reduce the number of unwanted pregnancies. That will reduce the number of abortions. It will also help women in a lot of ways. But our county doesn't even do that. It makes no sense. So the other thing in working on this program, and doing the campaigning is we just recently got a flyer from Marion County, this one, and you'll see that in that flyer, they talk about wildfires and what we learned from the wildfires. Well, to quote, what they learned is that they really we need to clear cut the national forests. And that is just completely wrong. And so I had recently been to the movie called Elemental, and it's about fires in Oregon and Paradise in California and other places. And they have a lot of scientists from OSU and other places talking about wildfire and what we can do. And so I sent one of these people, Ralph, who is the director of Fire Safe Communities. I sent him what Marion County was proposing as lessons learned. And his response was, quote, "Wow, that is really misinformed." Now, this is a guy that really understands fire, and he says these people do not understand fire. One of the things I've been doing over the summer is I've been going out with Smokey Bear to let people know 70% of our fires are started by people. We have control over that. We don't have to have all these fires. So let's be pushing that fire prevention program. They don't mention that. The county never mentions that. The thing that the Elemental does mention is the way to prevent damage to homes and structures is to build fire-safe homes. You won't stop all the fires, but you can get it so that 90% of those homes would survive the fire. And so there are ways to do that. There are even grant programs. But when the county is providing misinformation and missing the good information on what we can do, that's just incompetence. I don't know how to describe that other than that.
Yeah.
It's a terrible situation.
Mark, let me step in there. I got to say, I noticed that too when I read that, and I thought, boy, this is from our county commissioners, and it's not even good, honest information. It was a little jarring when I saw that too. So I'm kind of glad you brought that up. Hey, I want to move into the next segment so we can get some questions from the audience. Are there any questions for Mark? You can either raise your hand. Well, with this many people, yeah, please raise your hand down below in the reaction section, and be able to recognize hand gestures. Aileen.
Hi. First of all, I wonder if Ralph is selling DVDs of Elemental, because we should send a copy to the commissioners and ask them to watch it.
Yes, for sure.
Good idea.
It was really well done. They had a lot of information there. Great information.
Yeah, he's excellent. Well, my question regards land use. These three commissioners are private property rights devotees. They do not like state government. They don't like the state land use laws at all. And there have been at least 5 cases during the last 8 months of people asking for conditional use permits to put things on farmland. And in these 5 cases, the planning staff has told the commissioners, no, it's not legal, deny. The hearings officer denied it. The county attorney advised the commissioners against it, but they don't care. They say, these are our friends and we want to help them. We want to help these people. And so if there were 2 and you, and these 2 were saying, well, we want to, what would you say to the other 2 people, the other 2 commissioners, about what they are doing?
Well, I know Kevin and Danielle, who are the other 2 commissioners, and Kevin understands math and he understands wasting money, and to have one case after another that the county tries to defend something that's indefensible and wastes lots of our tax money trying to defend that. I think, Kevin can be convinced, well, let's not just throw money away. He's been
as bad as the other 2, I'm telling you. And
I'm sure he has.
we've been in, we're in court with all of them and winning all of them. Okay,
And
anyway.
yeah, well, one of the things I do want to say is, um, I don't know how much people understand how important you are, because without private citizens voluntarily taking on county government, they would be running over and getting some of these things through. But somebody has to challenge it, and you people have, and you, Aileen, have done a great job. But we rely on you volunteers to hold the county to follow the law, and that just, it's sad that we
Well,
have to
we've
do
been
that.
trying, and I testified to them that they're wasting tax money, which really made them mad. And then I told them they're ruining my retirement, because it is hours of work, hours
Yes.
of horrible legalistic time to prepare these cases and find the lawyer, and it's awful, but they
Yes.
don't care.
No. And so the land use, I believe in private property rights too, but I believe that the state and, has authority over those private property rights, under certain conditions. I mean, the state provides some guidance on those property rights. And it actually has helped Oregon tremendously. It has reduced costs for development because we're staying within the urban growth boundary. It's reduced risks out in the rural areas from fires and damage and things like that. It's reduced conflicts between rural dwellers and farmers and things like that by reducing the number of people out there.
Right.
So all those things, it makes no sense. And the thing that I keep wanting to refer back to is that saying that if you have 3 people in the room and they all think alike, nobody's thinking very much. They don't have to. And just to have somebody else in the room that is asking questions and helping them see another perspective will be a tremendous benefit to the county.
Hey, Mark.
Thanks.
Mark, let me ask you to, if you could give us like your 4-minute best closing statement you've got.
Okay. Well, I am surprised at how many Republicans and non-affiliated people that I'm getting to say, Mark, we're voting for you. Anna Peterson, former mayor, voted Republican since she was 18. She says, Mark, I'm voting for you. My neighbor across the street, he has a blue flag for the the police and fire, their lives matter. And very conservative guy, has a lot of guns, drives a big Harley Davidson. But he pulled me aside and he says, Mark, we're voting for you. You're the only guy that makes sense. And so what I'm aiming for is a huge landslide. And because I am getting positive feedback from lots and lots of people, and not just the Democrats. I'm not going to win this with just the Democratic vote. I need to get non-affiliated, and I'm planning on getting some Republicans. And so what they want, what I know about some Republicans, is they want responsible management of our government. I am that responsible manager. And they want to see actual things being done that will improve our county. And I will do that. What we did yesterday isn't good enough. We have to do better. We can do better. We will do better.
Hang on, I was just saying, yeah, I like all of that, and I was muted, but thank you. Mark,
Okay.
thanks for being with us. And if you want to give any more information about your campaign into the chat, give us a website if people want to make donations or get involved with your campaign.
I'll
Just
do
add it
that.
right into the chat. Thanks so
Okay.
much, and good luck with your campaign.